I moved to Fort Worth in 1961, and I came to Fort Worth to go to barber school. I in school, my grades were very poor because we were taken out of the school to harvest the crops, pick cotton, and sometimes we were allowed, like 3 months. The first 3 months of the school year, we might go. Occasionally, when it rained, you couldn't work the fields, but you go to school. So you were behind, So my grades were poor. Some things you never could catch up, and they didn't have no tutors or nothing my parents were illiterate to the point that to teach us, so we got behind. And I graduated from high school, and my barber that I went to, he asked me what I was going to do when I got out of high school. I said, well, I don't know, I'm just going to go to work, find a job, there in the town. And he was the one that really put an ideal in my mind to go to barber school, to become a barber, to come and work for him. So being raised on a farm, being out in the weather, hot, cold, you were in the environments all the time. I thought, well, this is ideal. This is an indoor job, 72 degrees year round and clean. So that's what inspired me to go to barber school. So I went to barber school, got my license, and I was hired from barber school. A barber with a shop hired me to go work for him right out of barber school. He came to the barber school and he asked instructor, who we would recommend of the students that were fixing to finish, and he recommended me, so I got the job, and I worked for him for a short time, and it wasn't financial-wise, it wasn't worth it to me. I couldn't stay there I couldn't make a living, so I decided to do what my barber back home wanted me to do, to go to barber school and come to work for him. So I did. I went back, and I only worked for him for a month, and I had made a lot of friends, girlfriends and friends here in Fort Worth, and I had gotten used to city life. So he took off for a whole month. When I got there, he took off for 30 minutes of vacation, just left me with a barber shop. And of course, everybody knew me that came to the shop, and I knew them, and they felt like I was better than the barber that had been cutting their hair because I had gone to school. Well, that wasn't true, he had a lot of experience, and he was very, very good. So I felt like I would have probably made it there, but I was single. I felt like I liked the city life, so I moved back, and I worked in another shop in the south part of town, and on and off I worked for him 3.5 years, but I got another job because it was the same way. I couldn't make a living full time. But after I had been with him for about 3.5 years part time, I decided that I needed to get back to barbering full time. So the state requires you to do an apprenticeship for 18 months to qualify for a master license. You have to have a master license to own a barbershop. So I thought, well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the qualifications to the time. You had to get the time, 18 months. So at the time I had gotten married, and I couldn't do what I had done, going working at these shops, because I couldn't make a living. So I came up with this idea. I said, I can go work at the base, and the business is there, the business there. So I went to work at the base, and I was running the shop, the hospital barber shop there at the base, and I wasn't really doing military cuts. Most of the people that come there were retired Air Force people or military people that come to see the doctors for appointments, and they had privilege to the barbershop. So I was getting, which were really civilians, and the staff, hospital staff, the doctors of those, were military doctors and nurses, male staff. And I wasn't really dealing to what the barbers were on the base, military cuts, peel them and all that. It was totally different. I had a totally different. But I put in my 18 months. I qualified for applying for a master license. I got my master license, and I bought this shop where I'm at. I've been there for 47 years, and I have only had one landlord until less than a year ago. They died, and their son has taken over. So I'm 75 years old, and I really don't think I'm going to make it to 50 in that location. At times, I would like, get a little publicity out of it, being there 50 years on the boulevard. But I'm working half days, and I'm really supposed to work a little longer than that. But since I'm the boss, I take off whenever I feel like. But definitely, I'm working mornings,